Championship Wrestling. I'm your host, Matt McCormick, and we are getting ever so closer to a new era in wrestling. More on that in a bit. Let's go to the ring for some classic West Virginia wrestling action.
Help his partner, but then saw that the big Mastodon was coming over, decided to backpedal a little bit, and I don't blame him. The Hillbilly looking good in the corner. Black coming in. Drops that knee into the midsection, goes for the cover, hooks the leg, 1, 2, that's going to be it. But Professor, my gosh, the Professor coming in. Normally it only allowed one save, but the Professor coming in the hardcore rules, but coming in out of nowhere and stopped at her. This whole debacle would be over with. Neck breaker, chin breaker, if you will. Tag made to the Professor. And a drop kick. Professor throwing those drop kicks, this unorthodox style. There is no way possible to prepare for the onslaught of the unorthodox tactics of the Grapes of Wrath. And he goes for a crossbody, caught in midair. He's like a gnat. Big modified slam. Big modified slam. The Hillbilly shouting out it had it hurt, and I believe it did. The Professor looking worse for wear, taking all this punishment. And DFZ's got a chair at ringside. Coming over. Tried an attempt, but missed. Tried to get that chair involved, but missed. Mr. Black too smart, getting out of the way. Laying that chair in. Now DFZ, after laying that chair in, now they got that chair again. Laying a chair in on Mr. Black again. I don't know how much they have behind it, but either way, it's still a steel chair. And now the hardcore actually coming to the advantage of the Grapes of Wrath. And just like that, the tide has turned. But DFZ better watch out. He's getting a little too close to the Hillbilly there. Hillbilly might lean out and swat. Double drop kick. That unorthodox style, now that they got the big Mastodon down, but the referee's taken by the Hillbilly. He couldn't make they're getting a little tick for tat there. Getting a little bit of their own medicine instead of distracting the referee, which they've been known to do. The Hillbilly distracted the referee on that. Now they're pulling the legs apart. I tell you what, this match is unbelievable. 10 minutes on in this contest. 10 minutes. DFZ dropping down the elbows. Now he's down, but he's not going to hold the Mastodon down like that. Not at all. This man's been undefeated for over 1 year as the Apex champion, and he's racked up 2 tag team title reigns. In the meantime, no one has pinned Mr. Black. It's the longest reigning streak in West Virginia sports and wrestling history. Double team on the clothesline. Springboard poetry in motion. I don't know how poetic it was, but it was effective. And the Professor pointing to that he's smarter, if you will, laying those blows in. Now putting that thumb in there, that modified Asian spike, and I don't see what's going on at ringside there. Looks like Breeze and DFZ are putting up a table. Looks like they got the affinity for wood, but the Professor down there delivering the stomps very effectively, believe it or not, to Mr. Black. Mr. Black may be worse for wear.
You know, Brian's always been good on the stick ever since I've known him.
He was creative from the time he could walk.
The list of guys that Brian has been in the ring with is unbelievable.
underrated. Yeah, he'd tag you every once in a while when he didn't have glasses on, but
he's intimidating to some people sometimes because he's such a big guy. He comes at you, he's loud.
I think he's a little overinflated, a little bit, self-inflated a little bit, and that's pretty much my opinion of it. Recently, I had the opportunity to sit down with a great friend of Logan's World TV, and he also happens to be the all-time hits leader in Major League Baseball history. I'm talking about Charlie Hustle, the hit king, Pete Rose, and here's what he had to say. We're here in Las Vegas with legendary Pete Rose. We are so excited to be hanging out with Pete tonight. And Pete, I'm going to start things off with a bang. We're going to ask you the question everybody wants to know, which was worse, Rikishi's stink face or Kane's tombstone?
Actually, the choke slam.
The choke slam was worse?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because when I did the choke slam, Kane had a bad wrist, and he couldn't lay me down the way he's supposed to. You know, on the choke slam, when he goes like this, you jump up as high as you can. It makes it look like you're really up in the air. Then he sets you down. But because his wrist was bad, he couldn't take me up as high as he wanted to. So the tombstone was fun. Rikishi, I whipped backstage, but not Rikishi. But it was fun when I did the chicken, when I was a San Diego Chicken, and Kane threw me against the ring and almost broke my back. I don't think those guys realize how big they are and how strong they are. And although I looked bigger because I was a chicken, I was not very big. No, it was like I told you guys at dinner, I've never met a wrestler or one a nice guy. From Vince McMahon on down, they're just great people, and they're entertainers, and they're fun to be around, and they all worry about safety in the back room where everybody congregates before the matches start. It's just a lot of fun.
Just switching gears a little bit, we talked to dinner earlier about your gig here in Las Vegas and just how busy you stay. Tell us a little bit about just the normal month for you now.
Well, I'm obligated to do 15 days a month. I did 22 last month. I'm doing 18 this month. And I work at Mandalay Place, which is a mall over in between Mandalay Bay and Luxor. And I work at an art and music store. And we just sit there and talk to people and sign 4.5 hours of autographs a day. And it's fun for me because it's like going to the ballpark and playing a doubleheader. Because I watch a lot of baseball and I can really carry on a conversation when you talk about baseball. I know what's going on in the world of baseball today, and people just want to kibitz with you and talk. It's fun.
Absolutely. So sticking with baseball, the All-Star Game's in Cincinnati this year. Just what baseball means to that city, but just describe what does it mean for Cincinnati to host the All-Star Game this year?
Well, I really don't know how involved they can get because I think Major League Baseball runs the whole All-Star Game. I know I was in Cincinnati the other day for opening day, and I was inquiring about tickets, and no one from the Reds knows anything about tickets. Major League Baseball handles the whole situation. So, I played in the 1970 All-Star Game there, and we had another one in the 90s there. But it's big for the city because there's so many people come in for the Futures game on Sunday, the home run contest on Monday, and, of course, the All-Star game on Tuesday.
I remember you put the release out after the season ended last year, and you talked about how it was a great year, but you also wanted to shift focus a little bit about a project that's near to your heart, and that's Wounded Warriors, right? And you do a lot with that outfit.
Well, no, not really. The Wounded Warriors does a great job, but we're starting our own foundation called Hustle for Heroes.
Hustle for Heroes.
It does the same thing.
Sorry.
Wounded Warriors does a magnificent job, and when I learned several months ago that every day in this country, every day, ladies and gentlemen, 22 veterans commit suicide. every day in this country. That's unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. And we're going to try to help these guys coming back from wherever they're coming back from to get reunited with their family and get them back to work. And it seems like not a lot of people in this country are hiring the veterans for one reason or another. And we're just going to try to make somewhat of a difference.
Absolutely. And we'll put the information up there for everybody at logansworldtv.com for hustleforheroes.org. Right. Absolutely. So
Put your money in.
or you might have Kane chokeslam him, right?
Well, Kane's a suit man now. You know, he's an executive.
Corporate.
Yeah, WWE. He's an executive now. But him and you know, Triple H and Stephanie, they do a good job. I mean, I watch them every Monday night from 8 o'clock until 11:05, and what's going to happen next. And you know, it's fun to watch when you know a lot of them. Right. You know, it's just like fun to watch ball games when you know players that's playing in the game. And I know a lot of the baseball players today, so I have a lot of fun with that.
I know it's early in the season, but what type of year do you look for from baseball this year?
Well, I think it'll be an exciting year because I don't think there's really any great teams out there. There's a lot of parity in the game of baseball. I'm worried about my Reds. I want the Reds to do well, but I'm a little worried about that pitching staff. You know, there's people who pick Washington and the Dodgers, and I think San Francisco is going to have an off year. They have no offense right now. They traded the Panda, and Hunter Pence is hurt, and he was one of my favorite players. Matt Carpenter plays third for the Cardinals, can really hit. You know, I think right now the best player in the National League is probably Andrew McCutchen from Pittsburgh, and I think the best player in the American League is probably Mike Trout. And I think the best hitter in baseball right now is probably Miguel Cabrera, you know, up in Detroit. So, you know, I have the different things going on, and baseball is going to miss Jeter this year, and there's no more Derek Jeter in New York. That's going to hurt the Yankees, and the Phillies aren't going to have a good team at all, and I don't know about the Colorado Rockies, and San Francisco and San Diego is supposed to have a good year, but Milwaukee, they're going to stink this year. I hate to say it, but I don't like to say anybody's going to stink, but just the first couple of weeks of the season, you can just see the way things are, you know, starting to happen, that these teams aren't going to have good years.
Put you on the spot. NBA playoffs. Who you got?
Well, I don't know who I got, but I hope Golden State wins because they're fun to watch. When you watch Steph Curry and Thompson, those guys are unbelievable. I mean, they have so much fun playing the game of basketball. And then there again, you look at San Antonio. You know, I often said that if you look in the dictionary and look up the word team, the San Antonio Spurs pitcher will be there, because Popovich is a great coach, and they got a tough first round. They're playing the Clippers, and the Clippers got the home court advantage. But you know, don't ever count out the Spurs, who lost their last game of the season. But going into that game, they had won 10 games in a row. So it should be an exciting NBA series, playoffs, and go all the way through June.
Right.
Just like the hockey playoffs.
We watched a little bit of hockey earlier today, so
I don't know anything about hockey.
that's why I want to ask you about it.
I made a off time. That's all I can tell you.
Well, I think Tampa Bay lost or won while we were watching. I might have to go with
Tampa Bay lost the first game against
Detroit.
Detroit.
So I'll go with Detroit.
You can't lose these first games at home. Expect to win a 4 out of 7 playoff or a 3 out of 5 playoff, whichever it is.
Well, Pete, we've had a blast with you this evening. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us and hang out with us, and wish you nothing but the best.
Well, thank you, and so say hello to everybody down in West by God, Virginia.
Can we get a
Jack Whitaker?
If we see Jack, we're going to tell him you said hello.
Jack is a perfect example of the Beverly Hillbillies. You know what Jack told me one time? I'll never wear the same pair of socks twice. He wears a new pair of socks every day.
Well,
that's what you do when you're worth $150 million.
That's exactly right. Thanks, Pete.
so excited to usher in a brand new era in mat action. Starting in July, Logan's World TV will present World Fighting Showcase, a brand new wrestling-based production featuring men fighting men. A new look, new cameras, new lights, new entranceways, and of course the best talent that money can buy. Reality will become entertainment with in-depth personalities and real-life situations, and of course the hardest-hitting action ever. World Fighting Showcase will live up to its moniker that we fight strong. So stay tuned. WFS is coming. And until then, let's take a look at these competitors.
Looks like they got the affinity for wood, but the professor down there delivering the stomps very effectively, believe it or not, to Mr. Black. Mr. Black may be worse for wear. He's got to avoid this table. This table could be the end of it, believe it or not. If they can score with the table. Reversal of the Irish whip. Now, Professor Danger. Avoided that table. Avoided going into the table. I thought for a minute that he was going to fall right into their plan, but avoided it. Avoided that table shot. Now they're going right at it. Now he's setting up the DFZ. The crowd calling for him to smash him through the table. I tell you what, this match is broken down. Somebody home and the Phenom's through the table. The Phenom is through the table. DFZ moving out of the way. And they're on him like a pack of wolves. They're on him like a pack of wolves. But he's getting up. He's on his feet. My God, he's on his feet. He's on his feet now, but he's rolled back as DFZ stopped him by ramming his back into the ring. Could this be it? No, there's no way that this undefeated streak is going down like that. He kicks out. He kicks out. Now DFZ going for the pin. A smart maneuver, the smartest move I've ever seen him, but not enough. Not enough. Both of them now, he kicks both of them off. Where does this monster get it? Where did two people on him, and he's on his feet? Knee to the midsection. Looks like they're going to go for a double team maneuver. Irish whip. Going for a clothesline. And he runs right through it. And he clotheslines them both. He clotheslines them both. The Hillbilly trying to rally the crowd. Tag made. Here comes the Hillbilly. Here comes the Hillbilly House of Fire, delivering big ham hock right hands. Down goes DFZ. Breeze taunting Mr. Black. Mr. Black following after the man that set up the table that he just went through as the Hillbilly handling both of the grapes of wrath. Both down, DFZ down. Professor brought to his feet by Hillbilly. Hillbilly calling for that move. He's got a big choke, but getting clipped out from under him by the DFZ. Trying to get him. I can't believe the tag team titles almost switching hands there as DFZ was holding down the feet. What are they doing over there? They're clearing that debris out. Professor Danger now. They're going for another table. Professor Danger with the modified sleeper. Backs him into the corner. Hillbilly reeling, but he's holding onto those ropes. Professor Danger with that sleeper hold again. The other 2/3 of the Grapes of Wrath has him down at ringside, has a table set up. But Professor Danger, in my opinion, doing the smart thing, trying to get the giant down. But he pushed him back into the corner. And again, like a cockroach crawling up the back of a big steak, he is just wearing down Hillbilly. Wearing him down. 15 minutes going in this contest, 15 minutes. Come on, Professor, we're all with this flow. the action. He's going for that move. He's picked him up. Oh my God, he threw it through a table. Threw Professor Danger through a table. What a counter. Tossed him down like a rag doll. What a counter there. Hillbilly down, Black pacing the ringside. The Grapes of Wrath in disarray. Fans saying that that's legal, and it is. It's as legal as a wrist lock in a hardcore match. I think Professor Danger may be dead. And he kicked him right in the back. And a meeting of the minds, Breeze. And the DFZ. Rolling Professor in. Calling for the horseshoe. Well, that's as hardcore as anything. Uncle Zeb's lucky horseshoe that he left when he departed to a better place. Oh, he drills him. Drills him with a horseshoe. Drills him with that horseshoe. And DFZ. I tell you what, this crowd really on the Professor. He got drilled. I tell you what, Professor Danger busted wide open. Knocking him into the forehead. I tell you what, I don't want to see how this match could go much longer because the time is just wearing down this beating that the Professor has taken, the DFZ has taken. All 4 men in this hardcore match has taken a blow. And a big clothesline. DFZ in. This match is falling down. It's breaking down. All 4 men in the ring. He's calling for it. Not much words can say here as the action. All 4 men in the ring. Professor screwing on Hillbilly. Mr. Black going for under the big top. Oh my goodness! I can't believe it! I can't believe it!
I'm P. Rose, and you're watching Logan's World TV.
You know, Brian's always been good on the stick ever since I've known him.
He was creative from the time he could walk.
The list of guys that Brian has been in the ring with is unbelievable.
underrated. Yeah, he'll tag you every once in a while when he didn't have glasses on, but
he's intimidating to some people sometimes because he's such a big guy. He comes at you, he's loud.
I think he's a little overinflated, a little bit, self-inflated a little bit, and that's pretty much my opinion of it.
Well, another great episode is in the books, folks, and you'll want to stay tuned to this station as well as Logan'sWorldTV.com for all the latest information on World Fighting Showcase. Trust me, you will not want to miss it. Once again, I'm your host, Matt McCormick, and may the good news be your news. Hello, wrestling fans. One more thing before you go. I'm joined here with Dr. Tom Pritchard, wrestling legend and also former WWE head trainer, and we want to let you know that beginning next Sunday at 11 a.m., you can actually catch World Fighting Showcase and Championship Wrestling Connection right here on this channel, Dr. Tom.
I am so excited for World Fighting Showcase coming to this channel. In fact, you know what? It's just what the doctor ordered.
We'll see you then.